is the world's most useless organization? Who is the world's most unreliable organization? Who is the world's most compromised and corrupt organization? Who is the organization that functions according to the whims and fancies of China? It's WHO. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host APOORVA, and in this video we will talk in detail about the relevance of WHO in the current world order. So let's begin. Today is the foundation day of the World Health Organization. On this day in 1948, WHO was formed to direct international health within the United Nations system and to lead partners in global health responses. Since the COVID-19 pandemic spread across the world in 2020, the World Health Organization has been created as redundant by people across all spheres of life. It has completely failed in all of its efforts during the COVID pandemic. Despite being the specialized agency of the United Nations responsible for international public health, WHO has completely lost its credibility. WHO now serves no purpose. It has been reduced to a pawn of China, and almost all of its energies have been focused on whitewashing the crimes of the communist nation. The World Health Organization was not always like this. Whether it be the campaign against polio or the eradication of smallpox, WHO has played an instrumental role in tackling health crises around the world in the past. However, ever since this organization got flush with the Chinese yuan, it started functioning as a poodle of Beijing and the Chinese Communist Party. To be fair, however, WHO merely aided governments around the world to deal with epidemics in the past. Moreover, India waged an aggressive immunization campaign against polio. It eradicated the disease from its territory primarily due to its efforts and hard work. The World Health Organization toed China's line when it came to the COVID-19 pandemic. Although not as pronounced as now, in the early days of the pandemic, WHO had become a Chinese foreign ministry spokesperson. China said there were no signs of human-to-human transmission of coronavirus. WHO agreed. China said travel bans were useless. WHO agreed. China said its response to the pandemic was laudable and an example for the world. WHO agreed. Despite the spread of COVID-19 pandemic to multiple countries, the WHO waited an additional 40 days until March 11, 2020 to declare a pandemic. The WHO pretended to investigate the origins of COVID-19. It sent a compromised and pro-China team to Wuhan and was given sanitized information by the CCP, which the organization considered to be the gospel truth. Do you know the WHO at one point even advocated against the use of facial masks? Why did it do so? Because China claimed that COVID-19 was not much of a cause of worry. First, WHO refused to give clearance to the Indian-made Covaxin. It kept delaying the inevitable, purportedly under the pressure of China. The World Health Organization is also a poodle of the big pharma companies like Pfizer and Moderna. Covaxin posed a challenge to their hegemony, which is why WHO decided to stall approval for Bharat Biotech's vaccine. Now, WHO has suspended the supply of Bharat Biotech's Covaxin to UN procurement agencies. The WHO cited GMP deficiencies as the cause for the suspension and clarified that the vaccine efficiency is not questionable and no safety concerns exist. Nevertheless, Covaxin supplies to UN procurement agencies have been stopped, and that tells you how the WHO is functioning at the behest of some silent masters. If the World Health Organization wants to remain relevant and not be junked by countries around the world, it must reform itself. WHO needs to grow a spine and not be influenced by Chinese and big pharma's cash. WHO is running on a leash whose end is nearing. There is only so much that the world will put up with. If the WHO refuses to free itself from its masters, the world will find an alternative to it. If this organization thinks it is indispensable, it is in for a cruel surprise. The world has been able to tame COVID-19 despite WHO and not because of it.